Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Sally. Nice to see you again. And Boots Outsourcing. I think that's Mary Glenn, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Welcome.
me. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Thanks
Good
so much.
morning or afternoon.
Good afternoon. What time is it by you, Sally? Are we both on Eastern?
Yeah, it's 12:02. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Same here. Well, thanks so much for joining and nice to see you here.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you.
Perfect. Well, I am recording this, so thank you so much for joining. I will be jumping right into the content, keeping our time, being very mindful of our time, actually. So I'm going to share my slides with you. And so today's masterclass is going to be around how to land both consumer and corporate clients. For a lot of us that don't have a corporate background, there's a lot of things that you could probably do with the work that you've chosen to do that you could repurpose to serve bigger businesses, bigger corporations with what is it that you have chosen to do, right? So in today's masterclass, I will share with you some of the most fundamental pillars in growing a legacy business that you can, again, adapt to either a consumer audience or a corporate audience. So let me know, do you guys see my slides?
Yes, it's pretty clear, a nice one.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that confirmation. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to put those in the chat. I'll answer your questions at the end, just to ensure that we are personalizing the information back to your business and your visions for growth. So a little bit about me. I'm a high-level business growth consultant, actually CEO and founder of the Life School. And I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs, whether they are seasoned entrepreneurs, upper six figures, seven figures, want to go to the next level, and also corporations, purpose-driven corporations through branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team. And again, that is what I've seen in my 20-year experience is really the foundations of any legacy purpose-driven business. Again, just like any house, if the foundation is strong, then you can build a big business if you like to do that, right? I always say that, especially in the online entrepreneurship space, a lot of people might be a little off of maybe building such a big vision. And I always say, just ensure that you have the right information and you're making a conscious decision that you don't want to grow a company that makes impact beyond you as the solopreneur. So I was a Fortune 500 executive CEO. That was my story. I grew unfulfilled. I worked for the space for 15 years. Because my company was acquired by another company, the culture turned toxic. It was very profit-driven company based on what their vision was. So I no longer saw fit there. So I pretty much took what I knew over the years. I did a lot of marketing, sales, HR there for many years, and I started my own business. And that's what I told myself. I said, contribution is very important to me. Building a business that is purpose aligned, or you leveraging my own purpose to making a difference is very important to me. So I said, I'm going to build a business on my own terms. So that's what I've done a couple of years ago. So that's why I'm here 5 years now as an entrepreneur, grown a very successful business with a team of 20 people. Amazing team. That's the proudest thing that I have, of course, not to mention all the people and clients that we've served over it's going to be 5 years now. So best-selling author. I also love to write and speak because it's just that channel that I just get to share my message with my audiences, and that way I get to serve people on another level. So I've written a couple of books. I'm writing my fifth one on leadership, visionary leadership, coming out in January. So I'm very proud of that, working on that behind the scenes. And of course, I also love community. I love bringing people together. So I'm a podcast host, the Top 100 podcast right now, and also summit organizer to our community of 30,000 purpose-driven business leaders and entrepreneurs, all people that are aligned with their mission and their work they do in the world, and they believe in their work, and they feel like that their work makes a contribution, and that's their calling. So that's what I build that I'm very proud of as well, and of course been featured in a few publications. I find media, of course, is another channel to really help us leverage our message and share what we know or what we feel called to share, so to speak, with those audiences. I've been featured in Disrupt, Business Insider, CO Weekly, Business News, New York Weekly. I'm always understanding how to build collaborations with media, also podcast guesting, speaking, because again, I love to share my message. So if I can do it in audiences that are already established, of course, that is something that I also teach a lot of my business owners as far as branding is concerned. Because I always say, jumping right into the content, I always say that there's two main purposes to any business, right? We always build our brand, especially if you are a service provider. Building your brand should always be utmost priority, because I mean, we've all have heard why building a brand is really important in business, because then there's nothing you stand for. People don't connect with you beyond just the offer that you have, right? I mean, we connect with other human beings because of the cause we stand for, or the mission that we really feel called to serve. So building a brand is more of a long-term vision for the company. But of course, you also have to understand how to bridge the gap between brand building and income producing activities, which is so important. I always say any company, even though you're purpose driven, needs to also make a profit. So purpose and profit go hand in hand. So those two things are, I find, are always things I'm always focusing on myself in my business journey and growth. So the common problems that you might be experiencing right now is lack of clients, consistent cash flow, lack of time away from the business. Maybe you just feel like you're always working in the business. I find that this was my beginning stages, and actually even now as my company has grown, I always find that I'm looking for ways to leverage the two pieces that I will talk to you about today, which is systems and teams, so I free up more of my time. I find that with every level of growth, this will always be a challenge that a lot of CEOs and business leaders will always face, because that's just the name of the game. Our journey that we have chosen to really be on are the path. So, and then the third issue usually is the lack of profitable income to grow your business and support your lifestyle. You might be maybe creating income, but it's not profitable. I know many businesses that on the outside have built an amazing big brand, but on the inside, there is no profitability, right? Not making money. And of course, we also need to fix that, because you can't survive long-term if you have those issues operationally as well. And then, of course, result-wise, if you're looking for consistent clients, cash flow, and supported business model. Business model support is actually one of those things that I've seen very vividly in my career, so to speak, in helping businesses grow. That there's a lot of confusion around that. Like, what is my business model? What should I offer? And what is this business model that's going to support your scalability? So I will touch upon some of that today as well. And then time freedom to work on your business and not in your business. I mean, most of us, that was my biggest motivation, besides I wanted to do work that was meaningful to me, was the freedom that supposedly business or entrepreneurship offers us. And of course, it does offer us the freedom, right? But we have to understand how to be strategic and purposeful into our day-to-day actions or activities that we do, so we get the freedom part as well. And then, of course, profitable income to reinvest in your business and other areas for higher ROI. Shifting our mindset around an investment mindset, especially if you are building your business long term and your vision. It always feels like for most of us that we're working years ahead of time. We're planting seeds, right? This is not uncommon. This is actually part of our journey as visionary leaders in our company. So understanding how to profitably invest in the right activities in the business at the right life cycle of your company is also a very important skill, because firsthand, I've made a lot of mistakes myself where I've kind of invested on random things and I didn't even know what phase and stage of business I was in. So understanding how to be very mindful and purposeful of that will definitely put money back in your company, but also fund your lifestyle, which is so important. Most people I help are also very cause-driven. We want to use the channel of entrepreneurship to do more good in the world. So of course, understanding where our money is going will fund our dreams, our passions, our other projects that are important to us as well. So it's important to understand that as well. So we'll start with the first pillar, which is really where everything starts, and really is the mindset piece, or what I say nowadays is inner alignment, because I attract a lot of conscious leaders, meaning leaders that are into self-growth, leaders that really understand that there's more into the business world than what we were used to, what they taught us, right? Which is more of the masculine tactics of sales and agendas and results driven and all of that stuff, which obviously a lot of that still is in the business world, but us understanding how to leverage our inner unique gifts as leaders and really aligning more people around us under that, whether it's your clients or team. Most leaders are understanding that that's important too, and especially because a lot of us have chosen this journey as our vocation. We want to ensure that we're working on things that are aligned with us on the inside, right? So spiritual growth, spiritual alignment is one of those things that gives us personal fulfillment. So understanding how to actually have a personal company vision of mission and values that aligns with that. Most people are realizing that that's actually very important, because especially to stay in this journey, that can have its challenges, because it's just like the journey of personal growth. There's growing pains, of course, and we grow with the business. I always say that we get in, and I always thought that I'm going to just go in and I'm going to grow my business. And I realized it's the other way, that my business actually has grown me as a human and as a person. So one of the most important values that at least I personally have come to clarify that is important to me is my personal growth. So you understanding what your values are personally first as the company CEO, and the CEO of your life, of course, always starts there. Will trickle down to your business, right? Will trickle down to the way you do business. Will trickle down to the culture you will eventually start creating your company. Will trickle down to the team you align around you, to the clients that you want to serve that align with you as well. So having this clarity, and I find that this exercise is not something we do at the beginning of the business, because we grow and evolve. Our company grows and evolves with us. So at every phase and stage of business growth that you're in, doing this exercise is very, very helpful. And then shifting into long-term visionary CEO mindset, meaning you are working ahead of time for goals and priorities that you were looking to realize in the further future ahead, right? So I mean, if you've seen any of the big brands and companies, obviously they're working on priorities that are going to be moving them forward 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. So having that long-term mindset, I would say in life too, I've learned, not only in your company, definitely makes a difference between someone that's making a decision out of quick reward that you can sustain, or someone that is purposely working in the future for the things that you want to align, and making sure that you're making the right decisions, the healthier decisions for you and your company. It's a different way that we we make our decisions if we have that longer term vision. And then aligning your business model with the current stage of business. Again, knowing where you are. If you are just starting out, right, that's a different business model that's going to support you. If you are out of capacity with a certain business model, maybe you're one-to-one coach, right, or consultant, or you have a group coaching program, or you have a hybrid coaching program, or a mastermind, like whatever you have created. You have to understand where you are, and if that business model has been successful and he has given you, again, the personal fulfillment that you're looking for, it might not be necessarily the same business model container that you will continue on for the next level of goals that you have for your company. You might need to evolve that business model, because it's not only what, the factor of where you are in your company, but it's also outside factors, right? Where's the economy? Where's your audience? Where is AI heading, right? All these different other outside factors that really, if we're mindful of those, should be definitely something that should guide our decisions. Something else that I've seen in my journey is really people switching back and forth. I always say every new business model is like a new business, because it takes a different messaging strategy, right? It takes a different positioning strategy. It might even be a different audience, right? Or it might be a small niche of the current audience you have, right? So there's a lot behind the scenes with your business model. So understanding where you are and which one aligns with you, I find that is the one that I guide a lot of entrepreneurs and companies the most, because that's like the base of your company. How do you make money? How are you profitable? If your business model does not meet your goals, then you could just be working on the wrong priority for years and months, and most people just get frustrated. One big one, it's high volume business model. A lot of new entrepreneurs usually try to go for lower ticket business model, but they have no relationships, they have no systems, they have no foundation, they have no relationships built. So if you are chasing that, well, good luck, because you're going to need a lot of people to make your financial goals possible, especially with none of those other pieces in place. But because people don't have that education, you could be potentially really working towards the wrong thing, and which is why you're probably frustrated, and you're not making, the building the right brand and making also the consistent income you're looking for with clients, right? So, and that could happen even with corporations. Like, what is your offer, right? Because that's the purpose of this masterclass, is understanding how to position yourself for both markets, the business to business market and also your consumer market. It could be the same for corporations, right? So clarifying, what is the offer that you are offering to the company, right? And sometimes you might need to recreate a whole new offer, or take already what you have been offering to a different market and bringing that to the business market, right? So there's a lot of factors to consider. However, I'm a big believer into let's use what you have already built and you have expertise and knowledge around, and then that could be something that you start with. And then you always improve your business model as you grow and as you evolve and as you serve clients. Because I always find the best school of life is experience. The more clients you serve, the more you know exactly what is it that you need to focus on, because that's what gives you the best information. So the other pillar besides mindset is branding. Right? Again, if you are not focused on building a brand, something that's bigger than your offer, then you're just honestly a small, tiny fish in a big ocean, and good luck with that. No one's going to notice you, no visibility. You probably will find yourself always articulating why you are different than other people, which is still part of your positioning, but you're just going to be very unseen, and you're not going to get the leverage and the momentum that you're looking for in your business. So building a brand that's bigger than just your offer, again, back to what I talked about. What is your vision? What is your mission? What are your values? People want to know that, especially in today's world. I focus on service based businesses, but I've helped a couple of product-based businesses. And today, in today's world, even if you have a product and maybe you don't, people need to see the face behind your product, you need to, they will connect with you. People buy from people. So that's why that personal brand and your company brand, it's a whole different masterclass in understanding, do I build a personal brand or a company brand, right? So I say at the beginning, you build a personal brand, and then later on, you could start to align your company brand with your personal brand as well. Because if you want to grow the company, then obviously bring in new people, then you want to grow a company brand. And you want to move yourself away from a lot of the things that you probably did as a personal brand. So there's definitely a strategy of transition if you would like to build the company brand in addition to your personal brand, because most of us that are going to listen to this are in the service-based industry, just like myself, right? So you have a service that you're offering. Positioning is everything in life, I've learned, not only with yourself, the way you position yourself for the work you do. Also, it's also the way that you position your company, the way you position your offer, right? Everything is positioning. So understanding how to become that authority in your niche and leverage that. Your brand perception is very important. It's very, very important, right? Because that's what makes you stand out from others. And I always say there's no reality, it's just perception. So what are some of those things? Of course, back to this, I listed some of those on the bottom there. So what is it that you could do to start, leveraging your authority of your brand? But just so you know, when the higher the perception of value that you offer, the higher, the easier it is to build trust with people. The easier it is to attract quality clients. Because they will really perceive you and your brand as high quality, right? That you are able to provide those transformations. So it really connects on so many other levels if you just understand how to position yourself as your brand authority. And then the other one is your PSPR is what I call it, which is again the business model, the problem, solution, process, and the result that you offer. Everything you're offering, trust me, has that process in place. Otherwise, you could not give people the results that you're looking for. So how do you position that, right? In the market, what is the pain points? What is the problems? What are the results, right? We probably have overheard this a little bit with the marketing message out there, but it's important. It's important because, again, people don't care about the details of your offer. They care about the pain point you're solving. So the more articulate you are with even your company brand, what do you stand for? What is the main problem you want to solve in the world? And all of that stuff that we probably hear. It's all like connected together as part of your brand message. And I always say that branding, when we think of it, I learned it the same way. It's just like, okay, make sure we have a beautiful website and logo, but branding is so much deeper than that, right? It's all these other pieces with your messaging, with your audience, with your authenticity nowadays. Honestly, I think that's a very important factor in branding, because that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us different, and people connect with different people for different reasons. So understanding how that is working is really powerful as well. And then positioning ideal audience and messaging in the marketplace for business to business or business to consumer client opportunities, right? So again, it's the same thing from the beginning. Even if you like to serve the business market, who is the position code that is your ideal client? Who is your ideal buyer? They call it in the corporate world, right? So just like you are clarifying your ideal client in the consumer world, in the business world, who is your ideal buyer? Are you selling to a CEO? Are you selling to a HR person? Are you selling to a VP of sales? Are you selling to a COO? Like, again, it's the same process, and we need to understand how to leverage that market as well, if that is what you're looking to do. So understanding how to position yourself with that is crucial. Where do they hang out, right? What is your brand strategy for reaching the business to business world? Because it's a little bit different. The journey to building relationships, I should say, in that world is a little bit different than the consumer world. And then your content strategy to increase visibility and trust building, right? I mean, everything is content, right? That is how we build our omnipresence, our brand, right? People see you on all these other channels, and that's what builds trust. And again, repetition builds trust and consistency. The more they see you, the more they'll build trust with you. But there is a strategy, like how do you know what to post? How do you know what to stand for and all of that? How do you work smart with your content? How do you make your content work for you? So you are leveraging the brand authority that I talked about at the beginning. And then, of course, starting a podcast and growing your current podcast is a great brand strategy as well. But it doesn't just have to be that. It could also be a very good income producing activity, right? Once it grows and you know how to align it with your offers and all the other things that you're doing in the business, there's so many things you could do with it. Book publishing and growth strategies and marketing strategies is another very powerful way if you're in the service space to do just that, to build your authority. But most importantly, to ensure that your book is also educating and inspiring your ideal reader, and then having a very purposeful journey from the reading experience of your book and what else is it that they can do after that. So very purposeful activities, all of these. It's not just about, I'm going to start a podcast, I'm going to write a book. All these things have to align with your brand. Otherwise, you probably don't have the clarity of why you need to even make these as part of your business. But of course, when you target or when you go for business to business, having a book published can open up so many more opportunities for you to build trust with those audiences, right? Because again, it's the authority behind the thought leadership of you becoming an author. So all of these could be really powerful brand building strategies in your business. And of course, my favorite is the media features that I talked about and speaking growth strategies, where again, these can leverage your brand really, really well. But of course, they have to have a purposeful strategy of how they're being used, so that you're not just using them for brand building. A lot of these also could really drive into the income producing activities of building the right relationships and landing the right clients or the right strategic collaborations, right? There's more to business than just clients. There's so much more to business than clients, of how you can grow it. So understanding all of those and how they work together just makes sure that your brand is solid. You just have a lot of those foundational pieces in place as you grow and as you build your brand perception. And then marketing is the good old heart and soul of any business, right? But what I love about marketing is really about the serving aspect of piece of marketing. And we don't always learn it that way. But what I've learned is that if you are in that service mindset, marketing is really about educating and inspiring your audience and entertaining them if you have that part as part of your brand. I don't do much of the entertainment myself, but that's because I don't align with it. But I do more of the educating and inspiring. So understanding how to align your right marketing strategies with where you are is important. And again, I always say you can be amazing at what you do. You can have a lot of passion for your work. However, if you don't understand how to bring in this component in your business, then you're not going to be able to be successful because you won't have that trust factor built. And of course, that will lead to lost sales, lost clients. So we need to learn marketing. And it's, again, not as hard as we probably have thought it is. But again, it's building your ideal audience online and offline. With after COVID right now, we're doing a lot of live interactions as well. So I always say there is virtual marketing, right? Digital marketing strategies that we're used to, the organic aspect of things with all these different platforms that we're handed. There's so many opportunities to grow your audiences organically and understand. I'll go into sales after marketing and I'll show you, so to speak, what is the right process to build really solid, good relationships through marketing and sales. Because frankly, the way we're shown, we have been shown, I guess, in the past has been very icky. So really understanding how to leverage the organic marketing that you have built, which is organic, and also when is it time to bring in paid marketing opportunities for your audience, for your business, right? Because I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, because they don't have the right education around this, they'll just they don't have a strategy behind their marketing. So even if they're paying for their marketing, whether it's ads or maybe strategic collaborations or influencer marketing, all these strategies that are part of marketing, they're doing it for the wrong reason and they're not getting the ROI that they're looking for. Because again, just like every life cycle of every company, there's certain dollars into marketing that you should be putting into the different strategies that are going to give you the most ROI. Because again, you could be missing out on a lot of organic opportunities. Listen, if you have the money, of course, you can put it into the paid opportunities, because I always say you trade time or money always, right? So organic, you're putting in your time, but you do need to still put in your time because it's all based on relationships. So even if you have your money and you want to put it into an ad, even the ad has to build relationships. So there is no side skipping this, but of course you can reach a bigger, more volume of people through if you pay, right? Just like anything. Facebook will show it to your ideal audience faster, right? Or if you're organically growing, then you know you're dealing with the algorithms, right? So, but understanding where you are and what is the right strategy is very important. And that is what marketing is, building trust with your ideal audience by adding value. I mean, how do we build trust with humans? We help, we offer what we know, and we are a resource to them, right? So that's why I love marketing. It's always about adding value in whatever way that we can. And then creating systems in the business to continuously support your income stability and growth, and understanding how marketing strategies are there to leverage that is important, right? Because again, everything is a system, right? It's if it's not implemented, most people just rely on word of mouth, right? That's one form of marketing. Yes, it's the best one. It's tried and true, many years. But what happens when that system is no longer working? You don't have anyone referring anything to you, right? So you're dried up. Your company has no other income coming in, right? So you do have to strategically, it's like almost like investing. You have to put your eggs in the right baskets, not in all the baskets, but in the right ones, so that all of these are working towards the bigger brand building and your income producing activities. So you want to be very mindful of that as well. Building and expanding a strategic network of warm audience proximity, especially with business to business. This is actually a much more important marketing focus, let's say, because high-level relationships with people that are more on those higher level positions of any company is always about the proximity, right? The connections. Who can people introduce you to, right? Because that is how they make business decisions. They don't have time to go on social media and consume content and decide that Elona might be a good fit for the problem I solve, right? They're leveraging more of their close proximity and close networks for to make decisions on who are they actually hiring. And then again, the difference between organic and paid, there's definitely needs to be a strategy around that. And then the other continuation of the marketing is, of course, the sales process. So what is a step-by-step journey? I hate calling it a sales process, but what is the process to building relationships? What is the step-by-step journey from when Elona and Sally first meets all the way to how else we can add value to each other's lives, whether we collaborate on something in the business or whether maybe Sally's looking for the support I can give her and vice versa, right? So what is that process that we have set in the business? And all of these are processes that are repeatable, right? Because it just seems like, well, you know, I can just do it my own way. And of course, authenticity is very important. And you will find your own voice with a lot of these. and which you probably have found because a lot of you are successful entrepreneurs and have grown the company to a certain level, and you're probably looking to get to the next level. So you have probably seen the patterns of how you do that. But again, when you come to scale, now you need to bring other people on board, your teams. Do they know how that SOP is happening, right? What is a standard operating procedure? How do we do it? So that you can now take your knowledge and trickle it down to other people in your company. So that's the power of a good process, of a good repeatable process. Master process of authentic heart-led selling. I think authenticity is powerful, especially with today's world. The markets are very mature with whatever is it that we're doing. There's a lot of information out there. People are very aware of their problems. They're very aware of the solutions. It just is a matter of where do you focus and where do you fit in. And I always say that you can go to a young market and educate. It will take you longer, or you can go to a market that already values what you have to offer. Back to branding, strategic, right? Where should you be focusing? And then building a sales ecosystem around the business that generates consistency. I think that's powerful as well, without just relying on one way to bring in new clients in your business. And then the powerful thing is building a referral and upsell systems in the business to retain current clients. That's a whole other pool of amazing people that already you've helped and you've given them a great transformation, and you build trust. I always say they're the hottest relationships in your company, because we all know that if we've been served by someone, we remember them and we'll go back to them and buy again, right? Then again. So do you have that system in your company set up? Because most companies I've worked with don't have a lot of clarity on that, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table from those relationships that they could be leveraging for future growth as well. And then the other one is systems. And what happens now here after the branding, marketing, and sales, every company needs startup or advanced. These are all things that need to always happen in the company. However, systems and team, the next two pillars, come into play when you are running out of capacity, when you're already overextended with your time, or maybe your business model is not really the right fit for you because you're probably offering time for money and all of those different things that happen with that. So what happens, the only way to grow is to do this, to create systems and team. Otherwise, you just can't move beyond yourself in your company, right? You're only one person. So that's why we need systems, and it's not a sexy word for a lot of entrepreneurs, but businesses know this very well, that without a system, nothing happens. Just like in a home, there's systems. People are, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're operating your home in that way, right? There's the family members all have their jobs and all of that. So it's the same in a company. If you're going to grow it beyond yourself, obviously you need some systems. Otherwise, you can't be efficient and you can't operate and you can't serve clients, the more clients that you want to serve or create a bigger impact with your goals, right? So implementing as much as automated. Obviously, now we're living in the world of AI. Of course, some of us are, experimenting with it. I think it would be very smart to experiment with it, because again, just like anything, you don't want to jump on the horse, you get left behind. Things are moving forward fast. So being an innovator in your company, and I'm usually a fast developer myself, but I've seen how sometimes we get just our comfort zone. So it's like, I don't want to learn the next thing. It was working, whatever I was doing. And the bigger the companies, the bigger the need for their change. Usually this is the change management process is usually a big challenge for a lot of companies. So anyway, implementing, looking at your house, how is it working? Do you have the right procedures in place, the right SOPs, whether it's with your marketing, whether it's with your internal systems, whether it's with your service delivery for your clients? All these are avenues to look at how are your systems working for the repeated tasks. Obviously, if it's a one-off, depending on where you're focusing on, then you can manage that project independently. But obviously for a well-oiled running machine, like a big company, then you need to have repeated systems that are working together. Every company usually has the same departments, right? Your marketing and sales, your finance, your service delivery, and your marketing, which I said that actually. So those are some of the main departments in the business, and then you can look at those both separately and together to understand where are some of the gaps and what are some of the processes that we can improve, so that you are more efficient and your team is more efficient, because obviously systems and team work together. If you don't need a team member to do something and you can create a system, then why would you do that, right? So understanding how to navigate this area is pretty important as well. And then, yeah, SOPs, standard operating procedures. For most CEOs, this is a pain because especially if you're operating more on the control aspect of things, you know, there's a lot of mindset around, I'm the only one that can do this right. So just setting up SOPs to train others and to repeat a lot of the tasks that one person is doing is a big challenge for most companies as well. So that is part of the systems aspect of things as well. And then the last one is team. Again, just like anything, if you can leverage it in a system, you would. However, understanding how to still leverage team is very important, because it definitely takes the team to build a dream, right? So hiring and onboarding the right support team, how do you hire and structure current leadership and operations team, right? Who's supposed to be where, what are the positions, how do you do the leadership aspect of the skill that is needed as a company CEO, and all these different opportunities, how to onboard and train current and new team members, how to retain current team members, how to bring in the right talent. There's a lot of problems out there with how to do a lot of these things. And one major pain point for a lot of companies is that they can't retain their talent. There's not, enough people that they can leverage if they want to scale. And of course, if you can't have that, then you're going to stay small. So understanding how to do these things in the company strategically is very, very important, so that you build that culture that people want to work towards. And I'm not going to go into leadership now. That's the book I'm writing, which is launching in January. But people now want to work towards something that's meaningful for them, right? They want to grow. So the culture is very important. They want to be somewhere where they're appreciated, right? So there's a lot of other factors that, take place when you're building a team. But the other skill set that's very important for any company owner, CEO, or even an online entrepreneur is leadership, right? How do you now manage and lead others beyond yourself, right? We first learn self-leadership, hopefully, and then we cascade that to the team or other people around us. And that trickles down to your clients as well, right? Because that's just how things are connected. So those are all the fundamental pillars that I wanted to share with you. So let me know in the comments in the chat if you have any questions around these, and I'll grab those questions shortly. And I just wanted to introduce you some of my past clients, actually, that I've been so grateful to helping. Corinne, health coach in the service industry, and I helped her implement a lot of these fundamental pieces in her business. She was a startup, just starting a health coaching business. So we worked with all these different pieces that I talked about. And she is well on her way to build her brand, and she has her clients. And I think now her next problem is that she's going to run out of capacity. So she needs to now know how to take the business model that she's working towards, which is a one-to-one she was offering, and get to the next level, right? I always say that's a good problem to have. And then Tammy, a self-love coach, I was able to help her with a lot of her branding, as she actually had a couple of clients and she was looking to create more of the consistency in her business, how to create all of these different foundational pieces so that she had the consistency and she was building her brand alongside. I always find that based on my work, I help people always do two things. It's like parallel. grow your brand, put all these foundational pieces in place, but also work on income producing activities, because we need to have the cash flow also coming in so that we could start to reinvest back in the business and do all the rest of the things. So working on purpose with both is really, really important. She also launched her podcast and she's growing that, and she wrote a book. She launched that, and that's also helping her leverage a lot of higher end paying clients, which she actually can give better transformations to, because that's usually what happens as part of that process. And then Brenda, I helped her. Actually, she had a team. She had a credit restoration company, and we worked on structuring the team, structuring that business model, because she was not charging enough for what she was doing. She had a very long process to how she delivered the client transformation. So we worked on smooth lining that first, ensuring that the price she was charging was in correlation with the value and transformation that she was able to provide. And we also brought in new team members, Salesforce, on her business, which we created a lot of SOPs for to train new people. And now she has more people than a system that she can duplicate, people that are selling in her business beyond her as well. And that's how she's grown with the time that we have actually worked together. So more testimonies are on my website. I love a good testimonial, people just sharing things from their heart based on their experience, and on my LinkedIn profile. And yeah, where do we go from here? So let me answer some of your questions. I'm going to just stop sharing my screen here. All right. Perfect. Well, Marglen says everything is so well structured. Well, I'm so glad. And yeah, structured clear pillars. I love a good structure because it gives you certainty, and especially in business, there's so much unpredictability and there's so many ways to grow a company. That's why I've learned that even in my own business, I always work with the foundational pieces. And then after that, it's so much easier to just build on all the rest of the things that come towards us. But it just gives you that certainty and that predictability is the right word, so that you have a machine in a good way that is working and it's efficient and productive for you, but also helping aligning with your other lifestyle things that you have in your life. So I think that's important as well. To most of the people that I help, that's a very important value, which myself is included. So working with that, and just I've been very blessed to be able to work with companies from all different spectrums, all the way from startups to multi-million dollars to $1 billion in sales. So looking at the patterns that are so obvious, it's something that I've been very blessed to kind of see those patterns. And that's where my gift is, to kind of look at the dots and what are the main foundational pieces that every company needs, what are the right things to focus on, and keeping people focused. I think as entrepreneurs and business leaders, focus in the right priorities, it's one of those things that makes or breaks us, because the more you dilute your energy, the more you get tired, overworked, all those other issues that happen, and you're not going to be effective in the results that you're looking to provide. So I want to thank you both for jumping on, and also the other people that will be listening to this masterclass. I hope, again, it was very helpful. I know there's a lot of information because I work on such a foundational methodology that each one of those could have been a whole topic and a whole class. So I appreciate you coming, and I would love to jump on a discovery call with you if any of this resonated, and I could just we can brainstorm on some of the things that you're trying to do. And I've been more than happy to offer you my time and expertise to offer some insight on some of the gaps or some of the problems maybe that you've been encountering that are been bothering you for a while, really hurting your income, or even the fulfillment aspect of your business. Because I say, like, what's the point? Like, we all know successful people with a lot of money that are not miserable with the work they do. So you have to marry those both, and it definitely can be done. So again, thank you so much. My calendar link is right underneath the master class. I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Elona, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.